This day, after the Feast of the Sacred Heart, invites us to go inwards and remain in the realm of the heart. Our Blessed Lady lived within herself. There is one remark in the manuscript of Purgatory where the deceased nun warns the nun on this side of life that many souls live with their interior on the exterior. To reverse that, we need to prune. We do more at times by doing less. For we work when we do less on the exterior, on the interior, and there we gain power. If our energy is diversified and goes through many channels to the exterior, our interior is weak. Also, if we channel much interior energy towards the encounter with the hidden guest, then we take care of the temple within. Whatever we do in our innings here on earth, if we have not taken care of the temple, we have not done it with the Lord. The Christian life is an invitation to the contemplative life by the very fact that from baptism we are a temple and we have a guest. And so when it comes to the end of that short innings, we will see one moment afterwards how much care we had taken, or is there a huge amount of unfinished business. I think of various moments of departure over time, souls who left in glory, others who left in misery. How many great names in history, people have succeeded as stars before the world, who've had a very miserable end. But how many hidden ones have died in ecstatic mode, ready to go, and wanting but that. Years ago, there was a good Welshman who was praising God with all his heart, and suddenly he dropped dead at a prayer meeting. What a wonderful way to go, to carry on that praise with the angels. Much can depend on the last moment. But before we reach it, we have to make sure that we have taken stock well before it. What is inside is influenced by what is outside. And if we are in control of our soul, we will not allow things to come out of it which shouldn't. Bad words, which hurt precisely the Immaculate Heart of our Blessed Lady. Impurity, what we look at. Bad conversation. Bad temper. It's all unfinished business if it's not handled. The temple of the Lord resembles the Lord and the angels who delight in that presence. In 1904-05 we had the great revival in Wales, which meant that the soldiers went to the war providentially prepared. Some died knowing they were dying, and therefore well prepared. There was one who unfortunately made a mistake when they were being briefed. The sergeant was telling them, remember, you must go without mercy. The one before you is your enemy. And he opened his mouth and said, how could he be my enemy? when I never even saw his face. The commandant was alarmed, called him out, and he was put against the wheel of a cannon and shot. But one could be sure that he had great merit on his soul at that point. He died for charity, a martyr. A word, when never said, is never known. And when a thought moves not the air, the mind hears not its neighbour's thinking. Rarely shown were views of thought to eyes of humankind, even though the souls of some saw more than sight. But this small word here spoken, little man, with rapid thought and with more rapid flight, fled from thy breast and left thee pale and wan. It did not know that love had not a place in this new world that others had devised. How can he be my enemy, whose face I never saw? Said youth, when well advised by ears, to stab and hurt and kill, and not to die till death had had its fill. Some years later, there was a case of another Christian, he was a Catholic, in Spain in the mid-1930s during the Civil War. The communists were persecuting believers, and he could have gone straight to glory as a martyr, but had a moment of weakness. Of course, the Lord is merciful, but it's rather sad because it's not just a question of thought inside and word outside, and word not having any importance, e.g. bad words, but then denial. These things actually do matter. And it's not just a breath of air, because these words last a long time. And this happened, unfortunately. They got him against the wall and said, will you deny your faith? If you don't, you're gone. And he had a moment of weakness before this gun. And he went along with their wishes. And then, satanically, they said, now we know you're going straight to hell, so we'll shoot you all the same. And off went his soul. Alas, if the word had been another, he would have had a martyr's death. There was a Christian soul upon a time that gainst its will did find its will ill caught twixt what it saw and seeing fain would climb, and what it feared against as it gainst terror fought. For as at pistol head the undying soul still clung to the unshot body that it held, 'twas told, thy Christ deny, or ending foul is thine. And in a tremble it heaven sold. So knowing now where this thy ticket leads, this little flick thy soul to damning tips, adieu, and hell's long groan one small sound heeds. 'Tis strange, methought, the lingering of a breath. From wind we came, and wind our aeons saith. Not that he was damned, we just leave that in the Lord's mercy, but this wind that comes from us does have a long history and can never end. We are in control. We have power over our words when they are still in our heart. But once they're out, we have no more power over them. The heart is there, and from the abundance of the heart the mouth speaketh. People realize what's inside because we betray ourselves. The truth will out. But the Lord sees even the thoughts that all the time we're ruminating, and the choice is ours. Will we have our house in order by the last breath? If not, we all have to start all over again in purgatory.